Trade up and trade out. You want the pants anyway? Yeah, no, this is.
All right, welcome everyone. It is 6 o'clock. We have quorum, so we will call the meeting to order. I want to welcome everyone to the Casa Esperanza Board of Directors meeting for August 5th, 2021. We will begin by having our mission statement read, followed by our conflict of interest statement, please.
Board members are reminded that it is our duty to avoid conflicts of interest and the appearance of conflicts of interest as we handle the work of this board. Does any member of the board know of any conflict of interest or any appearance of conflict with respect to any matters coming before us at this meeting? If so, please state them for the record. If during the course of the meeting you become aware of an actual or apparent conflict of interest, please bring the matter to the attention of the chair. It will then be your duty to abstain from participating in discussion on the matter and from voting on the matter. Now, the mission statement, Casa Esperanza Montessori educates students using the Montessori philosophy and Spanish language acquisition in a way that develops independent, self-motivated individuals who possess the critical thinking skills necessary to become responsible global citizens.
Thank you. Next, we want to approve our consent agenda. There have been no edits to my knowledge since the one that has been sent out to the board and the same one sent to the community. Are there any edits to be made? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So
Motion to
approve.
approve. I'll second. It's Alice.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Monique?
Hi, Monica.
Hi, Soraka.
Hi, Mike.
Okay, I think we got everyone there. Thank you. Agenda's approved. Next would be approval of our minutes from the previous meeting. Those, of course, are in the shared folder for the board. I do not have any edits that were made. Mr. Slipsky submitted the minutes. Is there a motion to approve? This is from our meeting on July 13th, which was the annual meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes from the annual meeting. This is Soraka.
This is Alice. I can second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Monique?
Hi, Alice.
Hi, Monica.
Hi, Mike.
Abstain, Seth. I just because I can't access them. Sorry.
Hi, John.
Thank you. Minutes are approved, one abstaining. Public comment. If we have anyone here for public comment tonight, sorry, I will ask that you please enter your name into the chat function. We'll allow just a moment for that. If you're unable to type your name, then we will also allow you to unmute to introduce yourself in just a moment. Hi, Ms. Chapman. We've just gotten to public comment. In case you were here to make a public comment, please enter your name in chat. Or if you're unable to, you can unmute yourself in just a moment. Okay, we have one name in chat, Ms. Draper. Please go right ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Hey y'all, I am very grateful that y'all are back here for the school year. Yay, celebration. I am asking, or I guess figuring out how can we work together as a community and collaborate. I have sent a few emails and the responses that I've gotten back have been very like mixed signals, such as like, hey, meet up with us or come to the meeting. And I feel parents don't really have a voice at either of those. And so I was curious as to when you are going to meet in person as well, since the teachers are in person, everybody else is in person, so that we can have that collaboration and communication and mingle. So looking forward to a great school year. Thank you all for everything that you're doing and just looking forward to it.
Thank you, Ms. Draper. Is there anyone else with public comment that cannot type in chat?
I will just say, happy to be at the school and I am ready to learn. And my name is Patricia Cayo, one of the teachers.
Ah, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you and welcome. All right. Any other public comment? Miss Elizabeth. Sorry, I don't see a last name, but the comment in chat is thank you for mandating masks. Okay. All right, thank you everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. Moving on, do we have any announcements? Either from head of school or the board? Okay. No announcements, moving right along. We will start with the head of school report, please.
Yeah, well, thanks everybody for this opportunity. What a great week it's been. So proud of the teachers and the students. They've just done an incredible job of dealing with adversity and overcoming challenges in the classroom with technology and carpool and rain and all sorts of great things. So I sent you the board report. I don't know if you had any specific questions. I know it may not have been as timely as you want it. Enrollment right now is, steady between 560 and 570 on a daily basis. Pretty much all of our enrichment classes are full. We do have some wait lists in enrichment classes, but really none or not too many in immersion. But to do that, we're having students who have applied for immersion who are new to Casa go through some tests in Spanish, some formative assessments in Spanish to see if they'll be successful. So each day we've been adding a student or two to that list. So feel good. The school's really full, and right now we're working through who's got the best furniture for the size of some of our kids. I think COVID certainly created a lot of growth spurts too. So we're going back through the furniture, making sure we have the right furniture in the right room. So I'll take any questions on enrollment or the planning or how we're working through the next 16 days of ADM. I will say, to get here, each teacher called home during the in-service days, and then we tracked during open house. And we knew, so on day one, we had 550, I think, on campus, but we've moved it up to
Good progress.
over 560, yeah, so, yep. We know we've got some students who are still away who were already in membership, as well on trips, since it's an early summer start. We're also battling the Wake County virtual school, which charter schools don't have any options for virtual options, but we definitely had some students go there.
Tom, just had a very simple question. Obviously I know carpool is always a challenge, and not noticed it's sometimes you got even a longer delay than usual. And I noticed you started maybe letting carpool go earlier. Is that right? Or start earlier?
Yeah, we did. We started, I think, 7 minutes earlier today than we did on day one. And we were done by 3:38. I think we're right at about 40 minutes in the afternoon. And this morning, we're right at about 41 minutes. So starting next week, we should be on target. And so the parents will get a notification about if you come into carpool after a certain time, it's, technically after time. So that will start to come into effect. But we moved it from an hour and 5 to about 40 minutes. If you think about it, we've got 550 plus students. And we don't have a lot of carpooling in car lines, so that's one of the things we're trying to do. And we've seen it, change. But just imagine if you have 400 cars going through, and it takes about 1.5 to 2 minutes. I've had a stopwatch on them, just letting them know. And you get one student who's not out there in the afternoon, or one kid can't get buckled, and it'll push your time to 3 minutes. So there's 17 cars that can fit into that spot, based upon the regulations we have. So 17, divided into, let's say there's 400 cars, you're talking that's, 23, 24 rounds of cars at 2 minutes apiece. That's 40 minutes. There's just not a lot of way to make it shorter, unless we started bringing, staff and start early at 7:30. That would be a significant, operational change to do that.
Right. No, I know it's a real challenge. I appreciate you getting it down as far as you've gotten it. So
yeah, I mean, I feel good at 3:35. We're going to be off, tomorrow. Yesterday, the technology went down, so we did actually have our technology person out there with us today to see how we can make sure that everybody's, phones can stay engaged in the Google Drive to know what cars are coming through, because that's what happened yesterday. It went down in the middle of carpool, and so we had to just shift on the fly and just do it old school. So, but they're getting better, and the teachers are doing great. It's just a matter of getting used to it. Kids knowing their number, having no accidents, everybody staying engaged while they're in line too. Most importantly, cars were off Sumner by 3:17 today. And that's really the most important part. We got to keep cars off of that road and make sure nobody's blocking intersections. That's what's making people upset. Be careful with your U-turns. Change your route. Go down Renteria instead of making U's. There's just some things we can put into place. Big shout out to the PFA. If we didn't have all those volunteers on a daily basis, we'd really be short. So they've been great.
Excellent. One question, Tom, on the enrollment segment, are we contemplating any different approaches at this point? I know it's come up from day one and increased, or do you feel like we're just going to land where we'll land once we get the few that are still not in town yet?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's only one physical space that could hold more children in the building. That would be the art room. And so there's not a way to bring a lot of students on campus. Like I said, most of our classrooms are between 26 and 28 for the enrichment. If they've applied, I mean, we still have, enrollment open. And we've had some people call. We actually had somebody apply, and we felt really good. It was a family of 3, but then it turns out they live in California, which would be too much of a commute. So we were really excited to get them until they realized we were in North Carolina. So there's a Casa Aspirants in California. Not sure what has worked in the past to bulk enrollment, but we have more students on campus this year than we did last year. When I say last year, I mean 2019, 20. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And just in terms, just, real quick, there's a few lines about teacher and employee development. So one of the things we'll have for next board meeting will be a survey on how many of our teachers are Montessori certified and trained, and all the trainings that they've gone through, so we can start to create a professional development plan to have more teachers on campus trained in Montessori. We're going to have our new hires start to observe our more master veteran Montessori teachers starting this week, so they can see the Montessori model in person and work with a mentor to strengthen their own practices. And then we're having our school-based curriculum meetings will start occurring this upcoming week. And then that will also coincide with our beginning of the year assessments through M-class and third grade reading assessments, and just to identify where students are so teachers can adjust their pacing guides. So right now, most of the learning is focused on previous grade level skills and any gaps that they're noticing, and building relationships has been the focus of the day.
Hey, Tom, I saw an article flash across my computer today about that basically said something about statewide reading scores. Are we getting scoring information in, or is this like the flash report that may or may not be accurate, or just curious?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. They did send, last year was a norming year for reading, so I don't know.
Right, they mentioned that.
Yeah.
Okay, just anxious to see those. I know everybody had a rough year, so.
Yeah. So the only other part in the report are the list of the new hires. So these are all listed for you, and they're all currently teaching at the school. We did fill all teaching positions, which is pretty amazing. In 21 days, we filled eight vacancies.
Yes.
And they've all done
super amazing.
well, and they came in running and sprinting. So that's why we know we need to provide them extra support. So that's what we're really focusing on. So there's one substitute that we have here for approval. So everybody's gone through background checks, and we're working through this week to get their benefit packages and everything together for them. So we will ask, I don't know when you want to vote on them, or if you have any questions in particular, but their licensure status and their salary is in the report. And I will provide you, Ms. Ward,
Yes, baby. Okay, thank you.
The best breakdown that I can of who they replaced. And
That'd be awesome. Thank you. Yeah, then we'll get the labor budget trued up. So
sure thing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So Tom, you mentioned not knowing when we would vote. I guess we could, we can put that on the next meeting agenda, because I know one of them, in terms of the licensure, effective August 17th, and we could just do them all at our meeting on the 19th, if that's okay.
It's a board decision. I think they would like to know that they're staying employed for sure, since they already started. That would be the only certainty that we want to make sure that they hear. So.
Okay, that's fine. So let me ask the board members for the new hire profiles there in the report. I mean, we can go position by position, but my question is, do you all want to amend the agenda at this point? Because usually for contract approvals, we list on the agenda which position is being voted on. So we could do that and then list each position.
I would say, yes, we want to get these ones locked down. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure, I don't mind voting. I just mean, do you want to go ahead and amend the
agenda? Yes.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. before we do that, Tom, let me just confirm, are we also going to be voting on the hiring recommendations as well for the vacancies? Because I can amend that to the agenda.
That's not coming from me, so I don't know. I'm only bringing forth the ones that I recommended and hired to start the
I'm
school year.
here. Yep. Can
Ms.
you hear
Outlaw.
me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we got you, Ms. Outlaw.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I would like to bring those two recommendations.
Probably we need a closed session to discuss those a bit, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I would amend the agenda for that too, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Sorry, didn't mean to be ordering you around.
Not taken that way at all.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so I think we can go ahead and just move all of the voting on new hires to the end of the meeting. We'll have closed session after our admissions policy review, after which we will add contract approvals for reading interventionist, Spanish immersion kindergarten, Spanish immersion third, fourth, ELA enrichment, ELA social studies third, fourth, language arts social studies immersion fifth, sixth, math and science first and second immersion, and first, second enrichment, substitute for aftercare positions. Mike, I can insert all of that in. I know you don't have your computer up, but all of those would be inserted after closed session for contract approvals. And then actually, let's go ahead and put assistant head of school and finance and operations director in case it pleases the board to vote on that tonight. Do we have a motion to amend the agenda with those?
So moved.
I'll second. Alice.
All in favor? Aye, Monique.
Aye, Monica.
Hi, Soraka.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Seth.
Hi, Alice.
Hi, John.
Thank you, everyone. The agenda has been amended. Anything else in the head of school report, Dr. Miller?
Yeah, there's just, one quick thing. There was the notification about the positive COVID contact, and just to let everybody know, being a fully masked school, each day our nurse is going through webinars and she's on live calls, and being a masked school, really awards us the opportunity to do our contract tracing, at a very minimum for that need. And so I know there was some, parent emails and, questions about that, but, based upon the situation we had, everybody was notified at the level that they needed to be notified. So just if something comes out, I would just feel free to ask us questions. But when you read within, the letters that we send, it kind of tells you where your child might be. I'm a dad of 2 kids, and I would certainly be, concerned too, did my, child, but you'll know, whether or not they were a close contact or not, based upon that piece. So, I updated the COVID safety and communication procedures, and I just added them to the board's packet. And I know, we have a plan next week to continue to go through those and make amendments if we need to. And then I'm working through the audit items. We started the ESSER 2 and 3 grants. We did have to contract with a third-party provider to do our state health benefits, because you need to be a trained administrator. We didn't have one on campus to do that. So that's the contract that I sent you. It shouldn't be more than 5 to 8 hours of work at the most. And then once we have all of our human resource positions filled, they can go and do that training. And that was it.
Thank you very much. Any other questions from the board on the head of school report? All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Miller. That I know that's a lot, a whole
Yeah,
lot.
you guys have been working really hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, the staff and kids have been great. So we really haven't had any issues with masks or rules or they've just been awesome. So the one thing that we need are probably more masks that fit little kids. That's, probably our top need is to find ways to help those little kiddos because they're doing a great job keeping them on, but they're hanging off their face. So yeah.
Next up, we have old business. The first item is informational for Leaders Building Leaders, a scope update. There is no contract update that is needed. The prior one carries us through the leadership transition. And so Dr. Miller's role, once Ms. Outlaw is on full-time, Dr. Miller's role will transition back to consultant. As the board has previously discussed, with continuing to help the transition with both head of school and assistant head of school. All right. The next item is also informational, our facility construction management task force update. Ms. Perry, oh, you're still on. Okay. Do you want to offer that? We lose you maybe. I'll just go ahead. So the biggest thing over the summer that occurred was site plan approval. So the site plan for the new facility was approved, I think just 2 weeks ago now. So we're really excited about that because that was huge. And the next thing that will occur is having the construction drawings to be finished. And so we've, well, you all already know, board members, but we've met with the faculty and had their input on additional plans. And then once the construction drawings are done, we look forward to just being able to share more about the progress because things will start to pick up, but no ground broken yet. Next, for new business, we have an update on the audit. Alice?
Forgot this was my agenda item. We are in the midst of the audit. Tom is doing a fabulous job of collecting up a lot of stuff that some of which is hard to find, is taxed to his and my ability to dig through share folders sometimes, but I think we're pretty close. We were just a little side point. We were hoping that since we have the certified confirmation from the state that we've duly notified them that we're leaving the plan, I was hoping we could avoid the complex and rather confusing pension disclosures that are required. But because we will not have paid the final exit liability before the end of the audit period, they are going to have to go ahead and do that work. It's work for the auditors, and it makes our statements harder to read, which was why I was hoping we could avoid it, but it doesn't look like there's a play there. So it will have that all that pension gobbledygook in there that we've seen in prior years. But it will also have a prominent note saying that we have, after year end, notified the state that we were leaving the plan, and it will quote our exit liability and our probably talk a little bit about our plan to pay. So I think we're chunking along there. I'm anxious to have Tom, I assume we're going to have like an exit meeting when they finish their field work, or at least a communication as to what they found. I'm hoping we can get that done so that we don't get surprises at audit report time.
Yeah, the But the management letter, are they going to write, or is Charter Success Partners going to write
Charter
the management
Success
letter?
will write that. And then we do need to make a note to have them come to the October board meeting to present the audit and get us to approve it. So that's kind of where we are. Tom, can you think of anything I left out?
I mean, no, it's just a lot of stuff to bring together. And I went through a questionnaire today, and really all the answers were COVID last year created a change in operational structure.
Exactly.
Which,
Yep.
fluctuated how, so I think they were just looking for more clarification rather than
Well,
internal controls and issues. So
some of the questions that you sent, I answered a couple of weeks ago on a phone call with them. So I get a little sense that the team they're not talking to each other, but we're just gunning through it.
Okay. All right, thank you. The next line item is account signers and line of credit. This is for the bank accounts and then the separate line of credit held in the school's name. We did reach out to Truist so that we could make sure that any former employees were no longer signatories on the account. So we don't have the paperwork back yet. Alice, we can
Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot about it.
It's okay. I was going to say next week we're going to do it anyway. I might just, if it's okay with you, Alice, I might just ask Truist to reissue one with Miss Outlaw so that we can go ahead.
Yeah. That makes good sense.
Okay.
So I don't need to sign the one you sent before.
No, we're so close to the date. I think we'll just have them reissue it. And then at the next meeting, we should also be voting on a resolution for the line of credit because we also need to update the name on that.
Exactly. Sounds good. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. The design build consensus doc, that is our contract with BCCG, the design builders for the new facility. This has been literally months in the making, and our partners and team, they've done fantastic going line by line, and Alice as well has been involved in that. So in your folder, you have both the version that was released last week as well as just a day or two ago, I think. My timeline gets messed up, but so Mary Nash has been going through this with a fine-tooth comb. At this point, BCCG has it, but because we've been back and forth already, we don't expect any further changes. So I'd like to have the board be able to vote on this so that we can, just kind of sign and put it to bed. But are there questions regarding it?
I just want to do a quick shout out to Michael Caney because he read this with a fine tooth comb and had a lot of good feedback for BCCG, but was also, I thought that when we really had to come to an agreement, we worked through it pretty well because everybody gave a little. So, but Michael really, I felt much more comfortable with this having him on board.
Agreed. I can't say enough fantastic things about how
he's just a huge comfort to me as far as just knowing what he's doing and helping us think through things.
So not to put you on the spot, Alice, but when you mentioned that there were some points where both sides kind of worked to get to an agreement, do any of those jump to mind just for?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I mean, they're hard to explain, and some of them have to do with the construction process and the way the costs and the are divided up. And there's a certain amount of spend that relates simply to setting up a construction site, getting a trailer there and getting it connected to power and water and electricity and internet and all that. And that's handled in a certain way. And I'm not being very eloquent, but just Michael's knowledge of the process and how construction firms work. He was able to kind of ferret out things where he thought maybe they were trying to bill us too much or where it wasn't clear what we got. I mean, there was a discussion where we went back and forth on how to deliver drawings. There was a section we talked through about the monthly billing process and the time allowed before we would pay interest on a payment. And if we got a bill that we wanted to protest or we had a disagreement with, what the process was for that. So those are things I can remember off the top of my head. That he just was very, he took a position, and then we would listen to BCCG and kind of go back and forth and work our way toward a common ground. So I don't know if that helps or not, but there was probably 20 or 30 of those.
Yeah, I was going to say, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was saying, is it fair to say that our legal counsel and our customer rep both think that the agreement's in fair and reasonable shape?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. They're all in agreement with that. I was going to say there have been multiple iterations and red lines on it, but one of the other things, Alice, you did a good job summarizing all of them, but just as another example, Seth, one of them had to do with what payment structure, basically. So there was a percentage, there's a separate fee, right, being paid for any development type of service aside from construction service. And then that fee is tied to a percentage of the GMP. One of the things that we had several rounds on was basically how to calculate that and what happens if there's an increase in the price of material. So the position of our partners was that percentage, that increase should not apply if the increase is solely due to the cost of materials. And then there was just insurance coverage where we were asking for just extras than what they were used to. So all in all, I will say that BCCG, it's kind of like cookie cutter contract, right? So they weren't used to having as much kind of nitpicked over. And even our borrowers counsel, the attorney there, she said that that our team is just far more involved in detail than most of the clients she sees, which I take as a compliment. So in the end, I think Casa is just, very well represented. And I don't mean like myself. I just mean the team is putting in a tremendous amount of scrutiny over it. And so everyone is finally at a landing page where it feels good.
Yeah, I think BCCG was getting a little impatient with us, but that did not mean we quit, Yeah, I think they were surprised at how diligent we are, honestly.
Yeah, it's amazing how many folks put a contract in front of you and then act surprised that you actually read it. But it is what it is.
One more clarification I just would like to make. When we first started, so we had shared a draft a while ago because Mary Nash was initially wanting to replace our interim agreement with them with this document and have it cover everything. But we just came to the point that the interim agreement was already in place, of course, and we just needed to better define what that covered. So we've been operating still under the interim agreement, but we need to do the consensus doc to move forward to the next phase because it also covers subcontracting. Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve the consensus doc as presented?
I can move to approve the consensus doc.
Thank you, Alice. Is there a second?
Second, this is Mike.
Thank you, Mike. All in favor? Aye. Monique?
Aye, Alice.
Hi, Monica.
Hi, Saraka.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Seth.
Hi, John.
All right. Thank you very much.
There's a milestone.
Right? I was going to say, big steps. We are definitely getting there.
We're rocking.
Next on the agenda is our admissions policy review. Tom, do you want to comment on this?
Yeah, so there was a request, from a parent about if I left Casa because of the health of my child and attend a virtual school, how do I get back in? And I just let them know they would have to go back through the lottery process because that's how all charter schools enroll. There are some preferences that obviously we already have in place, as the sibling preference and children of employees, and so there are some preferences out there that the governance committee could look at with operations. One being educational opportunity. It would be a stretch in this circumstance because it's typically for someone who gets to study abroad or something to that effect. So we could look into it to see if that might be available to the board if they're looking to, because I know there's going to be some massive growth when the school moves into the new building. So we could take a look at the opportunities for preferences, not just that one, but others, and present to the governance committee or the board to see if they would like to take that next step. We would need, I don't know when open enrollment begins, but we would obviously need to do that work, amend the policy prior to the start of open enrollment. So
it would be January. Sorry.
Yeah. So we could have something to you in August in terms of what's available. We could look at September as a potential vote if the board wants to move forward. In that time, I could reach out to the Office of Charter Schools and try to get some more clarification around these preferences that were added 2 or 3 years ago. So you just let me know how you want, if you want me to keep moving forward.
I think we should look at that because if there are parents, this is just such a difficult situation. If there are parents who say, I just am too concerned to let my child come back on site this year, we're going to do the virtual academy or homeschooling or something, but they want to come back, we're going to need to fill that new building. I'm not sure what it hurts.
Well, doesn't it potentially create an incentive to do exactly that?
Now, that's a fair point, Mike. That's a very fair point.
It seems like this might be a classic case of hard cases make bad law.
Yeah.
But we should probably look at what the options are. We looked at this, whatever it was, last year or the year before, when I think we considered whether we're going to add another preference for the preschool, but I just don't remember there being sort of a health exception or a preference that was in the litany of permissible lottery preferences, but maybe.
There's not, sir. It's just educational opportunity is the terminology they use, but it's probably a local decision of how that's, defined and used, but I would agree with you.
I think it's definitely worth looking into. And I think with your timeline, Tom, I think that will serve the board well, because more than likely, we'll probably need legal review to see if whatever the board's contemplating would actually fit. I think it was Senate Bill 681. So both versions of the policy as we discussed it, Mike, it was July of 2020. So even the ones that were presented to the board and kind of highlighted that we didn't actually incorporate are shown there, just so we know. And then so when Dr. Miller comes back with more information from OCS, then that with legal review, I think will tell us what we have the authority to do, so. Is everyone in agreement with at least getting more education about this?
Yes.
I am.
Me too.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious if this is something that across the board, schools have kind of, charter schools have to kind of consider. I mean, this is, a global pandemic. None of us expected this. So I guess it's definitely worth looking into.
All right, so yes, Dr. Miller, thank you. All right, at this time, we've come to the agenda item that was added for closed session so that we can discuss personnel and potential employment offers. Could we have a motion to go into closed session? It is 6:46.
Move to go into closed session to discuss personnel matters. This is Seth.
I second. This is Saraka.
All right, those in favor, aye. Monique?
Aye, Alice.
Hi, Monica.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Seth.
Hi, Saraka.
Hi, John.
All right, thank you, everyone. Motion passes. We're going to take a moment just to put our non-board members, non-administrators into the waiting room. And I'm going to estimate probably not more than 15 or 20 minutes.